Hey everyone, good evening. I hope everybody had a fantastic 4th of July and had a good weekend. I had a good weekend. I actually took some time off and I took yesterday completely off and hey Paul my gig, how are you? And it was just a really good weekend. I did work here and there, but nothing nothing is close to what I normally do. So I think I worked like 3 hours on Sunday night maybe. I took Saturday night off and I went to the shore and had a couple of drinks. It was a good weekend. So I hope everybody had either you made a lot of money this weekend or you relaxed or did a little barbecuing. So okay, let's see. I said hi to a couple people, but I'll say again. Hey, Gary, how are you from Middleton Technologies? Hey, Monica, how are you? Hey, Thomas. Hey, Josh B. I know you're going to join me tonight. Hey, Mr. Eclectic, how are you? Kindness Gang. I like that. I might have to use that. Hey, Steve, how are you? I already said hi, pull my gig. Am I missing anybody? Sorry, I'm trying to catch up. Hey, Charlene, how are you? Oh, you're currently shopping Instacart. Well, I hope you have like a really good order with a $17 tip. Oh, that is a really good order. So be careful, be safe, and thank you for being here while you're doing your Instacart order. Yeah, Josh, you didn't miss my last part. You knew exactly what I said. And for everybody, the link to tonight's live is up top if anybody wants to join me tonight. So, Gary, you had a good weekend, spent time with the family. Fantastic. I saw some of your pictures on Instagram. They were adorable, by the way. Hey, Kimberly, how are you? Hey, Anthony, how are you? Cynthia, you work today, but heading in, we're fixing to get ready for a bad storm. So I'm supposed to get some bad storms like around like 11 o'clock tonight. So, and that's supposed to be a little stormy tomorrow too. So hopefully maybe that might be a good money making day for me tomorrow. No, hey, Irivas, how are you? Okay, so let's get the ball rolling tonight. So before I even start, if you haven't done it already, I see 15 people in the chat right now. Don't forget to give this live a thumbs up tonight before you leave. So just a couple of things. So I do have a topic tonight, but I just wanted to kind of touch base on the channel. I've been doing a lot of reviewing of YouTube analytics. So YouTube gives you like a lot of information on how your channel is performing and also how each video performs. And I've really been doing a lot of diving into analytics lately of my channel and also my videos. And I've been really thinking hard and I'm going to try a new upload schedule. And hey, Lisa, how are you? And I will let you guys know when I come up with a new upload schedule, but I'm not going to be uploading every single day. The analytics are telling me that that's not kind of the way I should be going with my channel. And obviously I want to continue to grow and to give really good content. So kind of in order to do that, like I'm not going to be giving you guys a video every single day. I don't know what that quite looks like yet, but I'm just kind of giving you guys a little bit of direction on kind of where it's going to go in the next like couple of weeks. Okay, so topic of today. So I've seen some comments here or there, and I feel like it's an ongoing topic, and I thought it would be actually good for us to talk. And I know a lot of you guys are going to help me out in the chat tonight with this topic. So it started with Spark, and there's been a lot of comments back and forth lately on whether acceptance rates matter in Spark, and it made me think not just about Spark, but Also, like DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, there's really not acceptance rates in Shipt, but there is customer service rates in Shipt. But do these really matter when it comes to getting really, good orders, really good offers that come to you? Or is it just like the luck of the draw? You're being in the right place at the right time. So, in my opinion, in my area, acceptance rates don't matter. At least that's what I think in my area. So I want to hear from you guys. Do you think acceptance rates matter in your own area? Does it help you get more orders? Does it not help you get orders? And the reason why I'm saying this, because I was actually thinking over the weekend. I was very selective over the weekend because my area was jammed. It was packed. It was packed. It was packed with people. You had to be very strategic on where you went this weekend, staying away from the coast, and really being super cautious. And it kind of got me thinking this weekend because my Walmart is in a shore area. Almost every order I have usually goes close to the shoreline. And in order for me to do Spark over the weekend and still really achieve the money I needed to achieve, I kind of needed to do Spark first thing in the morning before traffic even began in order to even think about doing Spark. And there were some really good incentives, Gary. I know you capitalized on that really good incentive because I know you texted me that. So there was really good Spark incentives, but I was still my acceptance rate with Spark. It's in the. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It is completely in the gutter. Completely in the gutter. But I was still getting shop and delivers. I was still getting orders. Today I couldn't take it because I was actually in the middle of doing something. I just kind of turned on Spark today, even though I was off today, just to kind of see what came in. And there was a $50 shop and pay that came in. So I'm still seeing really decent orders with Spark, despite my acceptance rate being at like 12% for Spark right now. But if you kind of go down the list, my acceptance rate in every single one of these apps is really in the gutter. And I can kind of go through I mean, if you guys want to know what it is, but in Grubhub's my worst right now. I think I'm at 6% with Grubhub. Um, Uber Eats. Actually, I went up in Uber Eats this week because I took more Uber Eats orders this week, but I actually went up to 16% with Uber Eats. DoorDash, I'm at 10% right now. I just said what Spark was, and then Shift really doesn't have acceptance rate; it's customer service rate, and I'm at a 4.9 for customer service rate. So now I revealed all my acceptance rates, but I just feel I just feel like they just don't matter. I don't know. I don't know. So that was kind of what I was really thinking about tonight and seeing what you guys thought, what you guys opinion of it. Do you think, especially for Spark, do you think it matters? Does it not matter? So, hey, Robbie, how are you? Welcome. Yeah, so Josh, you said I feel that the only acceptance rate, Spark, is the only AR that matters. Okay, interesting. So do you feel like if your acceptance rate drops, you're not going to get good orders? I'm just curious. DoorDash doesn't matter. Don't care what they are. Try to push yeah. The way and maybe because I came from the food delivery world and kind of stepped into the grocery delivery world. And I think from a multi-apping mindset, that I'm not going to take, and this is just me, I'm not going to take an order that I don't feel comfortable taking, or I'm not going to be forced to take just because I'm trying to achieve an acceptable acceptance rate. If Spark isn't going to give me an order, then it's fine. I move on to other things that are in my arsenal of apps. So, DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, Chips, like they're all in like my arsenal that I don't skip a beat. So if I hate to say, I feel like a lot of these apps play games. Well, if you're not gonna, get this, then I'm not gonna give you this. Well, fine, I'll move on and do something else and not really miss a beat and still make the money that I need to make. Hey, Bud Soto.
Ooh, it is humid.
Yeah.
It's only up to 60s, but man, I'm sweating bad. Working another 21-hour day. I fell asleep last night, but yeah. I worked 21 Sunday and only 17 yesterday. I was trying to work 18.
That's crazy. Did you at least make some money yesterday working 4th of July?
It died off too much. Like, I had dead hours that were like, it started off with a lot of single orders for the first 2.5 hours. And to make money in my area, you have to stack. And like, I couldn't even stack Grubhub and DoorDash together. It's like either one will come up or nothing will come up on the other, or they were going opposite directions and I couldn't do them. It was very frustrating. I mean, you see my videos there. I did a risky one where I stacked Spark and a catering order.
That was a little risky. I did see that. That was a little. Even when I saw that, I'm like, oh, but so I don't know about that, my friend.
I did the same thing today. I just didn't record it. It wasn't catering, but it was like a $10 order stacked on $30 or no $24 Spark. So $34 hour. I mean, I'm trying. Gotta hustle. That's the only way you make money. What I felt really bad today is I got this Wendy's catering order again, and some other dasher already came and took the whole order, $109 worth of food, and they unassigned it and stole it. They wouldn't remake the food. I felt so bad for the guys sitting there hungry waiting for food because I'm the one who's been encouraging group orders.
Right. So what do you think? Acceptance rights, do they matter to you, or do they not matter to you? And I know you're not a big fan of Spark, so I'm actually curious what your opinion is on Spark acceptance rates.
It does matter and it doesn't matter. My acceptance rate's like 6%, and I made $100 this morning, or today, I should say. I made over $100 on Spark today. There was one order that was just a hot mess, though. Like, someone dispensed it yesterday, didn't give them the whole order, and me and another driver were sitting there trying to get the order. The offer was for 28. It took the whole hour, and I go and look in Spark, and I only made 18. It's not that the customer took the tip away. It's one of those blanked out ones as if you got partial pay or some crap.
Yeah.
So I don't understand that at all, because I think Spark itself was supposed to pay 28 from the offer. I should have shot at it. I waited like 45 minutes the other day, and I'm very respectful. It's this one bad person who works there. Got it to his PDA, and all the associates have the ability to cancel orders on us. I think it dropped to him, and he canceled a $38 order that I waited 40 freaking minutes for. So I'm cheating, quote unquote, but they don't seem to even care. They're too busy to care. I'll check in, go do an order, and come back, because by then it'll be ready. I'm not sitting there waiting for it. You know, you're forced to check in. It's still not ready, or they can't find it. One didn't drop in the system yet. I just take off, go do a couple orders, come back, and then I'm out usually within 10 minutes. Sometimes it's still busy, and I still sit there and wait 15.
Yeah. Just real quick. Hey, you.
I've also had a few that took 2 to 5 minutes because of that, instead of waiting 10 to 15 like I usually do. That's why I only do $20 up orders on Spark. That's it. I will sit there and reject until that order boosts up, and I see a lot of other drivers do that too. Some will take it for 19 and change, and it's like,
Hi, Steve. How are you?
Hey, what's up, guys?
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. So what do you think? Acceptance rates matters, don't matter? What do you think?
Don't matter at all across the board.
I agree.
Across the board in every state, even because even some states are starting to have legislation that I mean, California, for example, already they should just pull it out of there because it has no meaning.
Yeah.
No meaning. So
do you think that, like, going forward, do you think, sorry, I hit the wrong button.
Right.
So do you think going forward, like, especially with like California and like other states are kind of going towards this way, do you think like acceptance rates will completely go away from some of these platforms?
No, because I think they're there for the newbies. I think that, like a newbie signs up. They don't jump onto YouTube before they just hit, okay, let's start and do this. Maybe some do, but very few. Most of them just hit, let's start, let's go. You know what I mean? And when you open it and you see the app and you see acceptance rate, just your mind triggers, wait, this matters. You don't even have to know what the number is. Like, what is it that I have to keep for acceptance rate? You just know, wait, acceptance rate matters because it's right here.
Yeah.
So I think it's more of a trick of like, the amount of people they onboard and the amount of people they churn through. I think they just rely on the newbies for the first 3 weeks to think that matters and take everything.
Well said, Steve. I started teaching a dasher today because I gifted an order to my roommate. For some reason, the address he is at wouldn't let him order. The first dasher sucked. They were horrible. I got a partial refund, tried to reorder again. And then the new driver was amazing. She's worked retail before. And she's asked me all these questions. She's been doing it since January. And, like, she says, I declined some, but I don't want my rate to fall too low. I'm like, acceptance rate does not matter, especially on DoorDash. It could be 0. They will still send you offers.
I was just looking at Josh. Josh said less than 0.01% newbies go to YouTube to check out info that how to drive on the apps first. And it's actually funny, but I did the opposite. I actually watched YouTube videos before I went on to DoorDash when I was first started in DoorDash just to even see, should I do this? Should I not do this? But like, I'm a researcher. Like I want to know what I'm getting myself into before I do some of these apps, but I was like probably one of those 0.01%ers that just I don't know, I'm a dork that way.
So
okay, but let me ask you this, Kim. Did you do it on every app you onboarded with, or just that first time?
I did DoorDash, I did Uber Eats, I didn't do Roadie.
Like by the time you did other apps, were you just like, I know how to do this?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I feel like once you've done like 2 or 3 of them, you've kind of done them all. I did do a little research though on Shipt because I know Shipt worked a little differently than a lot of the other apps that we use. So I did do a lot of looking into Shipt before I did it because I didn't understand the concept behind it before I did it. So I did do a lot of research on Shipt before I did it.
Yeah. Well, Shipt is a little different. I mean, Curry's a little different. There's some that are a little bit different, but you can still get on them and figure them out. But yes, it could be helpful. But I think the main thing too is that 85% of people work 15 or 20 hours or less a week on the platforms, like all together, however many platforms they work. Out of all the gig workers in the US, 85% of them work 15 hours or less a week. I don't think those people ever come to YouTube. No. Because at 15 hours, you can't make a living. So you're making a living doing something else. This is side income 1 to 2 days a week. You're not on YouTube trying to research how to turn that side income into a few more dollars. You don't care. You're just out there going, I just want a few more dollars. So 85% of the people doing this work won't ever be on YouTube to look at it.
I believe it's even more. I think it's more like 95% don't look on here, man. It's pretty wild in my opinion.
Well, I don't know. I think full-timers might get to a point where from somebody, or if they start noticing like their favorite platform declining at a different rate than it was and they're like, wow, I'm used to it going down or up or fluctuating a little, but wow, it's going down quick. Like I could see them going, I need to reach out and see if something's going on. Start looking, even if they're just like Googling the news might take them to a YouTube channel that talks about
True.
exactly what they're looking to hear. Like, hey, in different markets, DoorDash is correct. And then they're like, wait, I'll check out other videos because there's suggested videos. And then they get in that wormhole of like the deep dive of some
Like
things.
I found all of you.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly. Like no matter how hard we tried to hide from Bud Soda, he found us.
Let's see. I found. I'll be honest. I found Bentley Coupe first, and then Pedro came up suggested, and then UDM started being suggested, and then Kim started being suggested, and then I think Hannibal, then Tanner Markley, more finance than you. So I'm not saying positive or negative things about anyone. I'm just saying though that's just what I remember how it came up. And
Josh said I learned from 2 drivers on TikTok and then learned on YouTube before I was even signed up for the app. So it's interesting that.
Way to go, Josh! Wow.
But Josh, so I would ask the same question to you though that I asked Kim. After you onboarded to a couple, and even if you're only doing those couple, but if you're doing more now, do you still do that? I mean, I'm different. I still do it. Kim still does it because we want to see what other people are talking about and what's going on with these apps. But like, do you do it every time you onboard an app? Do you not just open the app and go, oh, that's pretty easy. I get it. It's the same kind of thing. This is the rest. I get it. I mean, there's still lots to be gained from YouTube, but I mean, once you've learned 1 or 2 apps, like Kim said, you kind of, for the most part, you got it. I mean, they're going to be a little different, but
Spark was a bit more of a learning curve to me. I'll give Slavic D a shout out. He really did help me understand it a lot better. Dashing Grandpa a bit and Gig Mom, but like it took me a long time to figure out just the long wait times. Their cancellation rates are different than everyone else's, and it's been difficult to even try to get those the way I would like them. But now I finally got it figured out, and it seems like a lot of the drivers fell off because the first 2 months, it's been like 9.5 weeks now since it started in my area. It seems like a lot of the drivers fell off. Some of the Instacart shoppers fell off, and a lot of the dashers seem to have fell off. But at the same time, a lot of them are figuring out my strategy is the late nights. They seem to learn that the peak pays will randomly drop.
Yeah.
And they can't figure that out.
I don't know if
nope.
Kim and I were talking with, what was it, 2 weeks ago when Gary wasn't at the round table and we had Jason Thierry. I asked him, I said, I said 3 years ago, dude, you were on Spark, and like I didn't even know what Spark was and never heard of it. Had to look it up, and it was just random that they chose Grand Rapids, Michigan to be one of the 5 test cities they launched in that long ago. But it was like 4 or 5 months before he was like, Spark doesn't pay anything. It's oversaturated, and it's actually worse than most of the other apps. And I only say that because I hear everybody talking about how awesome Spark is, but really, I watched it launch 3 years ago somewhere else, and it's not awesome there at all anymore. In fact, Jason brought up a point that him and I have talked about before. That's Spark, and we've even seen articles on this, that Spark is more of a training for Walmart to put their own people in.
Yeah, that's exactly what they wanted. They wanted to learn to figure it out with Spark, and they want to turn a lot of these into W-2 delivery drivers. I really feel that they're still going to rely on us independent contractors because they can't keep their dang store staffed. So, they don't have enough people out here giving orders to us. How are they going to order? How are they going to have drivers too? And if anyone knows of independent contracting, heck, if they just know of Spark, I know there's drivers who just do Spark like on the weekends and stuff. And I'm like, why would you go work for W-2 for $16.50 an hour? I think that's what they start those guys at, when you could be making more money. Like, if you were just taking one $18 order an hour, you're still making more than you would doing that.
So
Yeah.
do you think, me personally, I also think a lot of it is market specific. Like, and to your point, Steve, I feel like, in my area, Spark literally just started when I started like a couple months ago. And like, I'm starting to see like the influx. Like, I feel like there's like peaks and valleys of Spark, but like, I feel like sometimes, a lot of times as drivers, we try to compare ourselves to other markets. Well, but Soda's doing really good in his market, so I should be doing good in my market. And to me, that might not be the case with Spark. It just kind of depends on how new it is to your area versus has it been around a while? Because in some markets, it's been around, what, Steve, you said like 2 or 3 years Spark's been around?
Yeah. I think it's like 3 years now. But
So
again, it was like when
it.
Pepsi launches a new product. They picked like 5 cities to be the test market. Grand Rapids was one. Jason was one of the first people on it. And he was saying, it's weird to me because he was saying 2.5, 3 years ago, all the things that everybody says about Spark now. Oh my God, this is the best paying one. And I was like, well, we all know how this goes. There's the honeymoon period, then it goes down, then like this is what's going to happen. And then him and I started looking, and there were articles out even about how Spark was looking at their own team, but they're actually doing what the gig apps try and do to us all the time. They wanted to learn how gig workers worked with Spark and not have to spend all the money on that learning curve, and then just take it, rip the rug out from under it kind of thing, and say, okay, now we got our people to do it.
Right. Do you think
And that's a worry? That's a worry I have of mine. It's not one I would put past Walmart at all, or any corporation, but especially Walmart.
I feel like a lot of these apps, and Walmart's including it, and so is Door, all of them. Like, I feel like, and to your point, Steve, like they use it as a ploy to get all these orders taken, because like they can't deactivate you. If that was the case, like I would have been deactivated a long time ago from each one of these platforms. I'm not deactivated yet, so I feel like it's a threat to, let's threaten the drivers. But is it an empty threat? Is it like,
it's an
well,
empty threat?
You're not going to get any orders because your acceptance rate is blank, because I really need you to take these crap orders at this point. And you're like, oh, I really need to take this. If not, I'm not going to get orders. Like, I feel like it's almost a little bit of a mind game when it comes to acceptance rate and what they're trying to do to get some of these drivers to take orders.
Well, it is, but you can't have people right now with the fact that California, Seattle, Massachusetts just shot down the bill after they told people they could vote on it in November. They said, no, never mind, you can't. We're just going to make our own decisions. You don't get to be involved. So all these states doing all this, as much as some of these gig companies aren't careful, they're just being careful by putting the acceptance rate in there. But they know that if they, in any state, even a state that's a right to work state that might not be affected for years, they might, they can't say that the acceptance rate matters, because if they do it in any one state, those other states are going to go, oh, it does? California, Seattle, Massachusetts, and they're going to be suing these companies. They're not independent contractors if there's an acceptance rate, because that's not a thing with independent contractors. Like, I work for a laser company. I work for other companies. There's no such thing as an acceptance rate. They can give me an offer. If I don't like it, I don't take it.
Right.
That's just it. And then they give me another one. It doesn't say my acceptance rate dropped with laser production. It just, it's an offer. Do I want it? No. Okay. Do I want it? Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead, bud.
So, like, Spark has a metric. So basically, you get to see the good orders a little sooner than everybody else. You get 5 seconds sooner, so all the orders come up in either it's first come first serve or round robin, and they get 5 seconds longer to accept it than anyone else. Kind of like having a 4.9, I believe it is, on Instacart. I know you hate Instacart, but like, I'm just saying,
you're sitting between two
Instacart
haters. So go ahead.
I really think that if they're going to do that, it should never be based on acceptance rate. We're independent contractors. Spark is the most W2 like app I've heard the only one worse than Spark is like GoPub. And from what I've heard. Like people make like 16, 17 an hour doing it, and they're just out there slogging at it. You know, unlike Curry, that's paying what? If you take a route, what is it, 28 an hour? You said something crazy, something good. So
yeah, it's $29.50 an
Draver
hour, and
would
it's
be like
$39.50 for overtime. Yeah.
Yeah, most Draver offers are in the 20s. So to offer anything below 20 an hour on jobs like that, it's just an insult.
Unless you're rural. See, that's where like what Kim was talking about, market to market. I mean, like when you do market to market, you can't just take the app and say, oh, in this market it does this and this it does this. You have to there's a lot of factors, but the first and main one is cost of living. I mean, if I lived in West Virginia in the hills somewhere, okay, and it was very rural, my cost of living is going to be 1/100th of Kim's. So therefore, what am I going to make? 1/10 of what Kim makes? And that's still more than Kim makes because my cost of living is so low.
Yeah.
So for rural areas, they can get away with some of this stuff. But in the bigger cities, that's why I think you'd think the bigger cities might like take a little longer to oversaturate. They oversaturate way quicker.
Yeah.
Way quicker. The bigger the city, the quicker it'll be oversaturated.
So two things. So I think Walmart can't afford, to be honest with you, because I feel like they're trying to expand and they keep on expanding and keep on expanding. Like they can't afford to lose drivers for acceptance rates. So I feel like it's, like I said before, it's an empty threat. It's an empty threat to get people to take every order that literally comes in. But at the same time, I feel like that's where cherry picking and multi-apping really comes into effect, because I'm not going to take an order that I don't think is right for me, but I have other apps in case you want to play these games. Okay, Spark, you know what? I have Shipt, I have DoorDash, I have Uber Eats, I have Grubhub, and okay, I'll put you on the back burner and I'll keep on going. And I think that's kind of where the multi-app world kind of comes into effect, that you don't allow these companies to dictate the orders you take. You're taking the orders that are right for you and your area, and you are the ones to make that decision. The company doesn't dictate that. And, I just think it's, there's never been, at least that I know of, there's never been a driver yet who has been deactivated for acceptance, right?
No, the only thing I can say is that when I started rideshare, they started us, it was a different system. It wasn't like you were paid per mile and you were paid per minute. It was a split. And when I started for Lyft first, it was a 90-10 split. Then when I started for Uber, and they were both within like 6 months of each other. One was in the end of 2014. One was in the beginning of 2015. When I started for Uber, it was an 85-15 split. And when it was that way, because it was set up as a split, they actually were able to use the acceptance rate against you. If you went under 80%, you were deactivated because you were making so much money that they were like, "Why?" You weren't hearing every day about like, God, 95% of the orders are crap. I'm not taking them. It wasn't like that. Every ride was good. And so they did have a way to go, hey, under 80%, you're off the platform. So this is pre-cherry picking, and they were just like, no. And then when they switched to the per mile, per minute rate, then it became, the acceptance rate was still there, but it didn't really matter.
But that's how DoorDash, if I remember correctly, when I first started DoorDash, and this is pre-pandemic, it was probably about a year before pandemic, their base rate was $5. Like before they started cutting base rates and stuff like that. So even if it was a no tip order, you kind of never knew it was a no tip order, just because a $5 order was still an acceptable rate for going 1 mile, 2 miles, and you're like, okay, I'll take it anyway. But they held drivers accountable to their acceptance rate. But then pandemic happened and they did the leave at door. And how can, during a pandemic, you can't hold drivers accountable for not going to places that they didn't want to go to, leaving it on their door. Like, that's kind of, to me, when acceptance rates changed and cherry picking became like the way of the world of gig drivers. As soon as they started lowering their base pays, that's when we started seeing all kind of a craziness with acceptance rates, and it really doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, let's take a look at, Gary Middleton's here in the chat. So let's take a look at Gary's apps. Gary's apps do literally accept and decline. So you set your parameters and then it declines everything outside your parameters. Nobody gets deactivated on Gary's apps. You could set the worst filters, and I'm only looking for orders that pay this much and they go this short, and maybe it's only 5% of the orders coming through. That means you're auto declining 95% and people don't get deactivated. And that's an app running your decision. So, I mean, there's no way it just doesn't matter. I haven't heard about a acceptance rate deactivation since probably 2016, 17. And I question when you're talking about the DoorDash thing. I guess my reply to that is when DoorDash came around then, pre-pandemic, at least here in Denver, which is a big market, food delivery was not popular. Nobody I knew was making any money on food delivery till the pandemic. Nobody made anything. I mean, if they were doing rideshare too.
Yeah.
You were?
I wasn't doing rideshare. No, I was only doing it when I first started. I only did DoorDash, and it was part-time because I was doing it with my W-2 job, and I was doing that little extra money for a Robinhood account, and that's kind of how that's how my gig world started. But it literally was minimum part-time. DoorDash only. I wasn't even a multi-apper at that point, making like $15 to $17 an hour, that type of thing. But it wasn't nearly what it is today.
When you're part-time, I think it's just a different, even if you're doing all your breakdown and everything, it's just a different mindset, because you could have one good order with one good tip and go, oh, well, I'm done for the night. I'm actually going to go have some fun. Or it's just a different mindset if you're part-time. If you have even if your other job is 25 or 30 hours, let's say it's not 40 or full-time, you still have that, and that. Mm-hmm. So it's not like you it's a lot easier to call it a night if you're doing something else too, as opposed to if gig work is your bread and butter.
So I was the exception, not the rule then, Steve, because I started getting super selective, multi-apping, and trying to hustle and make as much money as I could. So I feel like of the part-timers, there's maybe a couple percent at best that would think the way we do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just real quick. So Josh said Nova had weeks that he showed over 1,000 declines on DoorDash. There you go.
Look at ones too. I mean, look at Mr. Flex.
Yeah.
Mr. Flex has like 10,000 declines a month.
And he pulled off a $400 plus day.
Right. And I was just going to say, and maybe not every single day, but in the overall picture of things, yes, he's a machine and he works a lot. But to be honest, like he makes more than any other driver I know too on the good days. Like when he crushes it, he crushes it. And he'll deny everything. He'll sit there and deny a whole day if they suck.
He made 500 the other day, I think, in like just under 10 hours. It was just over 9. It was crazy.
Yeah. So Tony said, I made big money on Uber Eats because I hit the surges at the bar hours with food rather than rideshare.
Yeah, but Tony and I live in the same city, and I will ask you this, Tony. Didn't you still find you were having trouble with the food? Because I mean, you and I have both had rideshare drivers leaving, or rideshare passengers leaving the bar, who are like, "Hey, can you just pull through McDonald's?" And they're drunk. And there's like 20 cars in McDonald's, so they're trying to get like a free Uber Eats while they get their Uber ride home. So I guess my question is, like, at that time, I always know all restaurants to be so crowded at like 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. What's open is just packed here in Denver anyway. I don't know.
Yeah, I will say, go ahead.
So Gary said, I never make that much off one app because they send so much crap. I multi-app. That's funny.
Hey, Denver Daily Deals, where are you in Denver?
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, he said he's in. I'm just wondering what area he's in where the food delivery is bad. Because where Ron is too, Ron, who I have on the podcast sometimes, His can be pretty bad too up in that. It just depends where you are, where you're working. Commerce City, that's me, bro. You live like 5 miles north of me. Do you live by the soccer field? I bet he
So-
does.
Well, that's awesome.
So, yeah, there's days where I, barely break 300, or maybe I'm just under it, but like my average days are 350 to 4. Sometimes, if it's really good, 5 to 6. I think my best day ever one day was $659 change, but that was like working 16 hours during like effect snow. So, and like I really feel everyone saying, one thing I wanted to point on, they say market dependent. I really feel that some people use that as an excuse and not try to branch out like you have, Kim. I mean, you just do the food app. Now you got Ship. Now you got Spark. You're really pushing your boundaries out. You have point pickup you did for a bit. So, I mean, everything you can put in your arsenal, do it.
I say that every day. The more you have, I feel like an infomercial. What is it? The more you know, with like little star. The more you know, like the more apps you have. Like it really is. And believe me, when I was a food delivery girl. Like I'm like, nope, not doing it. Instacart, nope, not doing it. And then not that I think food delivery was going non-existent. I wanted to see if I kept adding more into my mix, call it a numbers game, how many more opportunities do I have in my area to make even more money? I looked at it from a business decision than I did from what I really wanted to do. I kind of put my feelings aside and I looked at it more from a business perspective. And I feel it kind of goes back to Steve, what you were saying as far as part-time, full-time. When you look at it as like a full-time, I feel like it's more of a business decision and you're trying to make the best out of the time that you have, whether it's a 7-hour day, 8-hour day. And let's face it, I think we all want to work smaller hours, but make the same amount of money. And that was my kind of piece of the puzzle. Like, how do I, especially I feel like there's never enough hours in a day. Like, how do I keep adding apps that's going to make me out there less, in home more, but still make the same amount of money? And that was kind of the game that I was playing. And that's why I preach every single day, turn them all on, because I really truly believe that the more you have in your arsenal, the more opportunities it creates for you, and it might get you home even quicker than what you were before. And that's why I think multi-apping is such key in a lot of markets. And there are markets where food delivery is dead. Okay, it's dead. There's other apps to try, and you never know what's going to work in your own market. But every market's different. Like Walmart Spark might work in my area, but it might not work in Steve's area or Bed Soda's area. Like you really have to find what works for you in your area. I can only tell you what works for me in my area.
Right, like Bud Soda actually does okay on Instacart. I have shown now on multiple platforms, social media, whatever. I'm not just talking about it anymore. I'm now showing the crappy offers I get from Instacart. And not anybody can even say, well, there's your good one, or that's a good one. I put a bunch up and I'm like, what do you guys think of these? And everybody's like, those are all crap. And I'm like, exactly. They're all crap. And I live in a big city. I mean, Denver's about 800,000 people. It's been growing for a long time. It's a big city. It should be big, but I can't say if it's the bots or what, but there's not money to be made on Instacart. And I know this. I've talked to other Instacart workers too, and some of them still do it strictly out of like time of day. Like they know that the other apps, they don't work. Instacart's about the only thing they might get something on. So they turn it on, they see if something's even acceptable. If it is, they might take it. But nobody's stoked on it. Nobody's like, love Instacart. Except for Bud Soda. But
I don't love it. There's a lot I actually hate about it, but I feel it's a good tool. And I like shopping. I like the customer's experience. I mean, I had one try to say all her items were damaged when she lived 2.3 miles from the store. And I went straight to her. Oh, jeez. Yeah, it's a little rough here. But, otherwise, I really like it. She didn't roll my tip back, so whatever. I just reported the fraud. It's whatever. It is what it is. just trying to see 412.65 last week, but I think that had a little bit to do with 3 days before Independence Day. Helped me a lot, and I've only made $20 so far this week. So,
I also
it is what it is.
yeah, go ahead.
Can I just address this Denver Daily Deals one? Because I don't know if I know this person, but he said that I saw up above. He said he's in Commerce City. Then he said Stapleton. So I'm right across the street from Stapleton. So if Denver Daily Deals, I'm at 20th and Montview pretty much, but I'm on the Park Hillside. So if you're going down Quebec, which is right near you, I'm not far from you at all. And so if you're asking me like what you said, what is a good area to recommend for food delivery? I would actually say if you don't mind a little bit of a drive to start, I would go turn on in like Westminster Broomfield.
Get on
which
ship.
is for
Go
those
to
of
the
you who
Target.
don't know, Westminster and Broomfield fall about right in between Boulder and Denver. So they're just two good areas. They're tech areas. People all get home at the same time. There's a lot of orders up there. I would try that though. I would not try and deliver in Commerce City. You're not going to make any money.
Yeah.
So,
just see real
I'm
quick.
excited for the end of this month. I finally get to meet you, Steve, the gig conference.
Yep.
It's coming up quickly for you guys.
It's coming up quickly. I've got it on the calendar now. Yeah.
That's
I can
why
see it
I'm
on the
grinding
calendar
already.
now.
But real quick, I think whether a good app is a good app or bad app or whatever it is, like I feel like you just have to feel also comfortable with what apps you're working. Like I'll be honest, I haven't felt comfortable with Instacart since the day. Even though I put it in my arsenal, I'm like, it's just not the app for me. And I can honestly say I probably will never do an Instacart order just based off of it's just not my comfort level. Sorry, but I know you love Instacart, but it's
but Kim, you do something
like,
really right
Pedro.
here too. That you say, like when you used to say, I remember when I first started watching, you used to say like on board to everything, and I was of a different mentality. I thought the same thing, but I thought take your time doing it because there's always a promo period.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can get X amount if you knock something out with a new app. So I was always I always felt like do that first, then on board with another. Now I don't think that anymore. Now I think like you, and I think just on board with all of them because like Kim and I are saying, we hate Instacart. Who knows that the ones that we love don't start sucking and all of a sudden Instacart changes CEO and something happens and they realize they're going to go under. And I know this isn't the scenario, I'm just giving one. And all of a sudden things change in Instacart for the better and they become the best one. And then they slow down the onboarding so that they're like, but wait, to fix this problem, we need to stop bringing on so many people. So all of a sudden the money's good. You want to be onboarded with everything.
Mm-hmm.
Your data is being shared across the world right now. Anyway, if you're afraid of data, that should not. If you've applied for 1 gig app, you can apply for 10. Your data will be in the same safety position it's in with 1.
Yeah, and there's so many now. Like you also never know. Even I see it with Walmart Spark, and it's from a lot of people making comments in a lot of videos. Like you never know what app is going to get filled up in your area. Even if it's not available, get on that waiting list because you never know when it is going to be available. And you want to be in the now opposed to, I should have done it like 2 weeks ago or 2 months ago or 3 months ago. You never know what these waiting lists are gonna look like. Look at for me, like I was on a 1.5-year waiting list for freaking Grubhub. Is it my number 1 app or 2 or no, not even close. But I use Grubhub for like those unicorn orders that give me like $10, 15 orders, $22. Like I use them for like the big ticket orders, and that's how I use Grubhub. But that's how I've learned to make it work in my area, hence why I have a 6% acceptance rate with Grubhub. But that's just the way that I've learned to make it. And just real quick, I just want to do this. Mr. Eclectic, I base my gig agenda based on more expensive residential area. It sounds awful, but some folks pay more for the most part. I feel like it's a strategy. I'm not going to lie. Like I live in a really some really good areas. If I see an order come through for some of those areas, most likely I'm just going to hit accept because I know the areas that it's going to. And it kind of goes with knowing your market and where you're going to get the best bang for your buck. But I've also learned in my area, not all of those McMansions that you see are the best paying customers either.
But Kim, you and I live in areas where when people bring up summer slowdown, you and I actually say the same thing. We're like, no, we have summer good time. We don't have a summer slowdown.
Yeah.
So like, I feel for you people, but like, I don't have that. Kim doesn't have that. We don't have a summer slowdown. If anything, we maybe get a little more business.
Yeah.
So it's
summertime is like I feel like where everybody usually has like that, like a really good time during Christmas, like those last 2 weeks of Christmas where everybody's making so much money because of catering orders and people are ordering their home and it's cold outside. And that's usually when a lot of people make a lot of money. Like, I feel like summertime is like Christmas time in my area, just based off of the influx of tourists coming down to my shore area. And that's actually one of the reasons why I actually took a little time off this weekend, because I worked it last year and the year before. Like, the amount of time spent trying to get people their orders during this mad chaos weekend, it wasn't like you weren't making money because you were spending more time dealing with traffic and getting people their food than actually making money out on the roads. What's one of my deciding factors, besides spending time with my family, but it was one of the main factors of this weekend. It's just, yeah, it ramps up big time during the summer. And Uber Eats for me is back during, like, when September hit. I'm like, what happened to Uber Eats? That used to be my bread and butter. Like, Uber Eats, where did you go? And now Uber Eats is back again. So it's like, I feel like the gig world is a whole bunch of peaks and valleys, but if you have more in your arsenal, there's going to be less peaks and valleys, and you're going to start making a steady stream of income based off of what orders or what offers are coming in.
Yeah, I would tell people that if you're gonna do apps, make sure that you sign up for them. Do at least like 4 or 5 deliveries, rides, whatever it is, so that you're active on their app too, and they've seen it. And then if the offers suck, just bounce off it, and then come back to it later, because they love that. They might even send you offers saying, "Hey, why haven't you been on in a while? Hey, if you do this in a weekend, we'll pay you." They notice it too. As much as you think that they don't notice us, that we're disposable and that we come and go so at such a high frequency rate, I think they've also established that at some point that frequency rate ends. Like,
you say that, Steve, but like, say Instacart, for example, they have that guaranteed pay, and it seems like every time I have one of those promos out, there's like next to no orders that would make sense for the promo. The only orders that would even make slightly sense to make are the ones with lots of base pay, and they're boosted with a decent tip on it. And
I should have left Instacart off my list. I should have said accept Instacart anyway, because I already, you know how I feel. I already think Instacart's scamming you to begin with. So to even read that email is a scam. So I don't. What I would do is just have Instacart go directly to my junk mail and just not look at it.
So I've been floating the idea. I'm like, hey, there's this platform I can go on. I can be your personal shopper, and I still can't garner interest. They're like, nah, Instacart's is easier, or DoorDash is easier.
If you're talking about dumpling, wait to see what I do with it, because it's going to be pretty funny. I'm going out in a ball of fire with just raging Instacart to the ground.
I think I need to, honestly, Steve, I think I need to pick your brain on dumpling a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that, and I think a lot of gig workers are going to find that might be part of the future. And more companies like Dumpling coming around that are going to present you the option of covering you with a card, but letting you be your own business. And for those not familiar with Dumpling who are in here tonight, Dumpling doesn't provide you any leads. It doesn't you're not getting pings. You're not like, hey, do you want this shop? You have to go establish your prices. You have to go work things out. It is a true independent contractorship. It's a business.
Tony said, Steve, Instacart just scammed you because you just said their name.
Right. Well, I'm going to take Tony knows I'm going to take Instacart to the floor. I'm done with this crap. And I'm going to be doing it on my Patreon page, but I'll bring it over to here too, especially after they see what I'm doing, if they ever notice it. And if it ever happens, I'll have it go down live, and I'll have the phone call and everything be live so that everybody gets to hear what a trash company this is.
Oh, I can't wait to see.
Just everybody stay tuned for a video that might come out that says, "Don't miss Instacart video." And I'll just make it real simple. And if you ever see that video from me, you will want to watch it.
Just real quick. So Christopher said, whereas Arizona is completely reversed with yours, Kim, it gets busy during the winter because so many come here. I think like I said, it just depends on your area. Some people see the slowdown in the summer. Some people see the slowdown in the winter. Some people are reversed. Yeah. You never, to me, I feel like you never know how there's like so many deciding factors, in my opinion, on how these apps perform. Are there enough drivers out? Weather dictates a lot of stuff. Are you in the right place at the right time? Sometimes it's just the luck of the draw. Are you by the restaurant that's going to give you the biggest order? Like
to bring it back around, that's why I know that acceptance rate doesn't matter. Because no matter what your acceptance rate is at, if you're the closest to something, and they're always about speed, their algorithm isn't doing that kind of searching. It's saying he's the closest. It really is saying he's the closest, give it to him. And if you say, well, this person was a little closer, that's just a mishap. That's just a misfire. Something happened. But really, they are trying to get it to the closest person, even if that person denies it every time. They don't care. They want you to at least have the option to go get it because you're right there. The most important thing about this is efficiency and speed.
I don't know. I just feel like a lot of these companies, Instacart, DoorDash, I feel like they think a lot of times our us drivers don't really have a clue. And I feel like saying, are you really that dense? Like, yeah, we do have a clue. And sometimes we're a lot smarter than you think. And I feel like that's my biggest beef with even DoorDash. I feel like they play a lot of games with a lot of drivers, not really realizing that there is a lot going on, that drivers, I feel like it's like my gift in the world when I'm out and I talk to other drivers. I'm like, step into my office, let me educate you a little bit on what's going on. I feel like it's like spreading the wealth of knowledge out there. And speaking of, that's really sweet of you, Thomas. Thank you. It brings out the best in drivers. Thank you, Thomas. And then Anthony, I learned a ton from Kim. Thank you, Anthony.
Yeah, because there's a ton to learn from Kim. You can watch her every day. Although I was listening to you saying you're changing your schedule. And by the way, I was sitting here talking to Marissa when you were saying that. And I was thinking, I was actually talking to you through the monitor without being on with you. I was like, no, Kim, don't do it. Cause I was thinking like my algorithms change too. Things have just changed because it's summertime. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like views go down a little bit, things happen. And so it's like, I'm wondering, like, unless you're doing it for you, I wouldn't go by the algorithm of YouTube saying that you're not doing it right because you've been doing it right the whole time.
Oh, thank you. You
know that too. You've had a very successful channel. Now they're like going, well, maybe it's not maybe it's the mark. They're doing algorithms for everything on YouTube. And when are the people on and stuff? To me, it's better to just, it's like when I ran a bar. There are times of the year where on a Friday night, we have 100 people in there. And then there's a Rockies game at home where we have 400 in there. Yeah. So you just got to roll through some things sometimes.
I know sometimes, and I just feel like sometimes I feel like sometimes I just need to, in order to get out really good content to people, I feel like I'm forcing every single night to come home, edit, go to sleep, wake up the next morning. Like I want to have a little bit of time to put out, not that I don't think I'm putting out good content, because I don't think that's the right term, but I feel like in order to get the editing that I want to achieve, I need a little bit more time in some of the videos that I do. So, sometimes I just need a little bit of a breather space. I'm still going to put out stuff consistently. It just might not be every single day.
Kim needs a trip to Disney World, you guys.
I do need a trip to Disney World.
So
Maybe, I don't know,
like
maybe
somebody
this
start a
fall.
GoFundMe to send Kim to Disney World so that we can. She'll come back all refreshed and like, oh yeah,
I
I'm ready to
promise
put
I'll
out.
take you guys. I'll vlog every single day I'm in Disney World. I promise. Oh, did we
But
lose
yeah, I
Bud
mean,
Soda?
oh, I thought you kicked him off, but yeah,
No, I didn't
because of
kick
the
him off. I
digital
just lost Bud
static. No,
Soda.
I'm just kidding. I need it.
But thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I get a schedule down, I will give you guys advance notice on what the new schedule will be. Like it's probably still going to be like the 11 a.m. I try to stick to 11 a.m. Release time. It's still going to be the same time every single day. It just might be a little different.
Oh, I thought you were even saying you weren't going to do every day.
Yeah, I might not. I don't know. I have to really figure it out in my head. I just wanted to kind of pre-warn you. And not only that, like a girl needs a little bit of sleep every once in a while.
Like I told, if and for those of you that didn't hear me a while back about Kim, she is the James Brown of the gig world. She's like the hardest working woman in show business, or the hardest working person in the gig world, because she's out there gigging every day. She's recording, she's editing, she's putting out a video, she does the live. I mean, every day there's a video from Kim. Every day.
Yeah. Oh, first of all, thank you, Thomas. I really appreciate the super sticker. Thank you so much. And Josh. Oh, here. Sorry. I'm like, where did it go? Cheers, Josh. I know Kim sleep. What? I know. A girl needs a little bit of beauty sleep. I think in my 40s, like the bags are coming in a little bit deeper than what they were a couple years ago.
So why don't you just allow yourself like 2 days of like shorts or something, where you just kind of still have the algorithm, but you put out maybe what you're going to be talking about in the week.
Yeah, it's going to, I have a couple ideas in my mind to still keep everything fresh. It might be, shorts. It even might be, talking videos that aren't as long as like my regular ride-alongs. Ride-alongs I'm still going to do regardless, just because that's what my channel is. So I don't know. Well, I have a couple ideas that I am kind of throwing around in here. Change is always good. You don't want any channel. You want to be a good content creator. You don't want your channel to be stagnant and put out the same exact thing. Like, and I even sometimes, I'll be honest, I feel like I'm bored sometimes doing it, because I think, well, if I'm bored, are people bored watching what I'm putting out? So it's really finding the balance of a couple ideas that I have going on for a couple of videos coming forward. So
But yeah, I mean, on the flip side, you're right though, because you don't want to lose your algorithm
no.
and your stride and what you've done and everything you've achieved here. But I get it. You don't want to burn yourself out either, because then you'll lose the algorithm anyway, because you'll just start being disinterested. So you need a break, but you need to find it in a way where you can kind of counterbalance it and still have something dropping.
That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to find the balance of, putting out really good content consistently, but also, how do you make, it fun and interesting, and, getting the latest stuff out there as soon as you possibly can. And, everything, like I said, I've been doing this for literally 2 years straight, 365 days. I have I think it's over 600, maybe 700 at this point. I don't know, but I've been doing ride-alongs every single day for 2 years straight. So it's how do you make it fun and exciting? And, like I said, I have lots of ideas up here. I just have to execute them.
I mean, when you're out working, you wearing the GoPro and doing all that, to be honest, to me, that kind of stuff makes the work even a little more fun, because it's like you have something else going to. So it's like, okay, but I know where the real work comes in is when you get home after that and you have to edit and put it together. That's probably where you're like, oh yeah, that was fun until now.
Exactly. And I feel like the more you're creative with the videos, and you you put a lot of time and effort in, and you like, I could spend like, you have this great plan in your head, and it's like, why did I come up with that plan? Because it's now going to take me 3 to 4 hours to edit, opposed to my 1 to 2 hours to edit. And then the next day you release it and you're all excited and you're like, I can't wait for people to see this. And it does like 300 views, and you're like, but yet you like throw together a video in like an hour, and you're like, man, this video, I'm so sorry guys, I'm sorry I'm putting it out. And then like all of a sudden it's like people think it's the best thing ever. Like, I feel like you never know the YouTube algorithm and what they think is going to be a good video, what you think is going to, not be a video. What I think and what actually transpires is two completely different things. But once again, it's just really, finding that balance. That, Tony, that's actually really funny. Teach your daughter how to edit. She probably knows the iPad better than I do, so it's not such a bad idea. I swear, my 5-year-old knows the technology better than I do.
Yeah, Tony's got a bunch of kids. He knows that doesn't work though. Like he lives in my area, and he's got kids. I got Max, and they just good luck with that. Hey, edit my stuff.
I'd hire an editor if I could just have creative input, because I literally don't have time.
Look at Bud Soda went full dark soda. It's like
he did.
There it is. When his face is almost gone, it's that body dragging that body through the woods look.
But so do you need one of those? I think I just messed it up. You need one of those ring lights that go on your phone. That's usually what I do when videoing at night, because the GoPro's like really not good at videoing at night. But there's actually ring lights you can actually put on your phone for like $10 on Amazon.
Yeah.
Would that blind you as you're trying to drive down the road? Because that's what I'm trying to do right now.
Probably.
Well, not if you put your phone in your phone holder.
Okay.
No, but yeah, I mean, I got a ring light right here that my son got me for $25. It's on a tripod. It's got the light, everything. So
yeah, gotta love those ring lights. Okay, gentlemen, I am at the hour. This night has like flown by. Steve, thank you so much for coming on and joining me tonight. Thank you, Bud Soda, as always.
Yeah, thank you.
So, Steve, tell me what your lineup for this week is.
So tomorrow I'm doing Gig Economy podcast with Jason Thierry, because Jesper's out of town. So I'll be sitting in there. Thursday, you're with me. And we got Zach Drives Fast, Gary Middleton, Hannibal, you, me, and Zach. Friday, I got the radio show. Saturday, 13 minutes of news. And Sunday fun day.
So Saturday, July 9th is New York versus Alaska Challenge. Myself, Bud Soda, Rideshare Lisa, Long Island Dash Experience with Lou and Mary, and Cody and Autumn. And they're going to go to Anchorage and Multapa, DoorDash, Grubhub, and Spark. In our respective time zones, 6 to 9 p.m. I plan on live streaming. So awesome. Worst case, I'll just have to put out a video of my earnings if for some reason I can't live stream.
Hey, UDM, before anybody says anything more, right now I'm using that Camo app right now. So this is because he was the one that told me about it.
Hi, UDM.
So basically I'm using my iPhone, for those that don't know, because he told me about it. I'm using my iPhone 13 for my camera now, because my camera looked like crap. And it's just hooked in to my computer through an app now.
Huh.
So it's like complete HD. It's awesome. So I was letting UDM know that it's awesome. Yeah. Thank you for telling me about it.
That's awesome.
Is that why his videos are always so crisp?
Yeah.
Well, I think he's kind of a little new to it too. But...
Well, I can't wait for Saturday, Bud Soda, for your challenge with everybody, because Lisa's here tonight. I think I saw Alaska Gigs and Guns in here tonight. I don't know whether they're still here. Who else did you say?
I think I do think about their challenge. I do think about their challenge, though. I was talking to Lisa about this. Maybe it was even today. That Long Island Dash Experience has an advantage over all of you guys. Lou and Mary have a great market. They know how to work as a team, and I know Cody and Autumn do too. But it's a lot harder up in Anchorage area to make what they can in Long Island on a Saturday night. So I feel like you and Lisa should be able to pair up.
Okay, she was asking that. If it was this last Saturday, I probably would have blown everyone out of the water because the military paid it in July 4th. So, you know how I grind, but it is what it is. They couldn't. We wanted to originally do it the second, but they couldn't until the night. So,
or at least work some kind of like handicap. You know, like I play golf, so like I might have a handicap with somebody else where I get a few extra strokes because they're better or whatever. You know what I mean? Like there might need to be a little buffer at least. I don't know. I don't know that I'm not being mean. I don't know that Lisa, you, or Cody and Autumn can beat Lou and Mary unless they just have an awful night.
Don't you and Lisa live somewhat close to each other?
I'm like an hour and 20 from her, and I'm not driving to Syracuse in the pickup. Yeah. She pondered coming here, but she'd have to get a pass to get on the military base because if you just try to dash the city, it's way too oversaturated.
Gotcha.
She even put in the comments here that Bud Soda, we should add our earnings together. I think that it should you guys should do it how you have it set up, but at the end you should add yours and Lisa's together and see what that changes the factor.
So crap, I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but I'm going to go for a charity for service dogs for military veterans. So basically it's former military dogs and then just dogs specialized, for PTSD, injuries, whatever episodes they need taken care of. So, I went and vetted it out. I had to think about it carefully. I'm sorry, I'm getting all rain here on the camera.
So I know Kim's time has ran up, but are you guys all going to be live streaming?
As far as I know, yes. So Alaska Games and Guns will be last because obviously they're 4 hours difference.
Right, but you, Lisa, Lou, and Mary will all be in the same time. So you'll all be going at the same time.
Yeah. She wanted to get with you on that and see if we could just like StreamYard with you, but I don't know if you wanted to do that.
Well,
that's
what her and I were talking about. I'm happy to do it. I just didn't know how to coordinate it.
Yeah, I don't mind.
I mean,
well, stay tuned, everybody, for Saturday for the challenge, the New York and Alaska challenge.
You got my digits.
That's actually a lot of fun.
I got your Walmart order, brother. Thank you.
But like you, Kim, I took the last 2 days off, and I haven't done that in a long time, like completely off. I didn't do anything, and I haven't done that I haven't done that this year. I have not done that this calendar year. I took 2 days off completely away from everything.
Yeah.
And so I'm just today's my first day back. I've been reading emails and all kinds of, I'm like,
yeah, today
just trying to get back in the swing.
I still took today off because Tuesdays are normally my day off. So I took today off too. So it was a nice break. I can't tell you the last time I actually took a couple of days off in a row. Like
that's how I was.
It was nice
Christmas
and
for me.
rest. Sometimes mentally, sometimes you need it more than physically. So everybody take that time every once in a while just to kind of take a breather. And thank you once again. What?
I took too much time off, and St. Louis is going to be my workcation. So, I mean, I'm going to party at least a day, but otherwise I do want to try that market and have a challenge. But all right.
I'm going to wait till he's partying, and then I'm going to put an order in for with a $500 tip.
That's awesome. Okay, guys, I'm going to call it a night. Steve, don't forget, everybody don't forget to join us on Steve's channel on Thursday night for his roundtable. Don't forget to join Bud Soda, Lisa, Alaskan Gigs and Guns, Long Island Dash Experience. Hopefully I got everybody on Saturday night for their challenge. And I'm going to talk to you guys a little later. Thank you, guys. Okay, you guys, thank you so much. I am going to call it a night. I really appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much for being active and being active in the chat tonight, especially with the acceptance rates. Does it matter? Does it not matter? I don't know. I think that they don't. But guys, there are 25 people still here right now. Don't forget to give this live a thumbs up before you leave tonight. And guys, that's it. I will see you guys next Tuesday, same place, same time, right here at 8 p.m. And guys, if you're driving, please stay safe and healthy. Remember, kindness is always free. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video, or I'll see you next Tuesday. Bye, everyone. Peace out.